Have you ever noticed how weird people who are really successful seem? Have you ever seen how odd they are, how weird, how different, sometimes strange, even like to the point of, that's ridiculous. Well, one of the reasons they're doing that is because they understand that success and status are not synonyms, even though sometimes they travel together. And on this video, I'm going to show you why and how status prevents success. So what made me think of this is I was having a conversation with somebody on my team, and we were talking about people who will buy a $55,000 coaching program from me, and then we have opportunities for them to get coached, and they don't show up for everything. People will pay $27,000, or even, believe it or not, $350,000 and not show up for everything that's available to them. And then they'll start struggling. What they'll do is they'll come in, they'll have a little bit of success early, and then just kind of go off and do their thing and think, well, I don't need this coaching thing anymore. But coaching is the one that brought them to the dance of success. And now they're dancing with everybody but the one that brung them. There's an old saying, country saying called dance with the one that brung you, right? And I know it's brought you, but brung just makes it sound so much more emphatic. And so I want to share with you that what happens is the early success that other people perceive them having, they make a boatload of money in a short period of time. They get an award for whatever. It could be a Russell Brunson 2 Comma Club award. It could be a Myron Golden $100,000 day award or $1 million day award, or it could be an Inc. 5,000 award. And you get these awards, and then people start seeing you as a person that's noteworthy, and you start reading and believing your own press. And then you start acting as if it's true because it's true, instead of acting as if or behaving as if it's true because of what you do. And it's only true as long as you do those things. So there are several things about the connection between status and success that if you don't understand them, what's going to happen is you're going to end up sabotaging what little success you have early. And believe it or not, people who can afford to buy a $55,000 coaching program and make a whole bunch of money end up with less money after they made a whole bunch more money than they've ever made in their life, because they made the mistake of thinking that their new status was their new success. So, as we get started, let's first define status. Let's define, what is status? Well, status is based on the perception of other people about you, or about a thing. That's what status is. Like, you perceive something about me, and so that creates my status. My status and my success are almost never equal. Either my success is higher than my status, or my status is higher than my success, and they trade places sometimes. Sometimes in your life, you'll have more success than status. Sometimes in your life, you'll have more status than success. Here's my warning for you. When you have more status than you do success, don't mistake the status for success, because you will become complacent, and then the success that brought you the status will leave, and the status will follow soon after. So status is based on the perception of others, but status can be the basis of the deception of you. So status can deceive you into believing that you're more successful than you are. And I was there. I was in the world of people that I was around. I was a big baller, shot caller, man of the world. I was living large and taking charge. I was making $30,000 a month. And I went to a seminar by somebody whose information helped me get the transformation of getting to $30,000 a month. And he asked for a testimony. I said, yeah, man, I've read your books. I've listened to your audio programs. I've followed your advice. I live like a king. My expenses are $5,000 a month. I'm making $30,000 a month. And he said, wow, you're doing really good. You're about to have a breakthrough to the really big money. See that face I got right now? That's stink eye. That's what that is. That's stink eye. And I thought to myself, and this is in front of 700 people. Status alert, status alert, status alert, status alert. All the status alarms are going off, right? And this is in front of 700 people. And I thought to myself, did he just diss my $30,000 a month in front of 700 people? And then the success siren went off. Danger, Will Robinson, danger, danger, don't make this mistake. And what was that mistake? Wait a minute, there's a level where $30,000 a month isn't any money. I submit to you that whatever you're making right now per month, there's a level where that amount a day is not any money. Am I talking too fast? Because here's the reality. I could either be irritated that he put my status on blast, or I could be grateful that he put me on a path where success was possible because my awareness was enlarged. So now, after he said that, I'm no longer deceived into thinking that $30,000 a month is living like a king. Because here's the thing we know about kings. They make more than $30,000 a month. Are y'all tracking? Now, $30,000 a month was more than anybody in my arena, but in the I got this from my brother Jeff, so I'm going to give him credit for it. In the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. And so I'm walking around, king of the people who make less than $30,000 a month. In my mind, until I found somebody who was making hundreds of millions of dollars a year who thought, oh yeah, you about to have a breakthrough, little man. He didn't say it that way, but that's how it felt. But I'm so glad that he said it. I'm glad he said it the way he said it. I'm just glad he said it in front of people that helped bring my perception of my status or my perception of my success down a notch or two, even if it lowered the perception of other people's status of me, even if it lowered that 10 or 12 notches. I would rather be in a good place and people think I'm in a bad place than be in a bad place and have people think I'm in a good place. And so status is the perception that other people have of you, but status is also the place where you create, like status can be the basis of the deception of you. But status creates a bias in the direction of others by you and in the direction of you by them. So status can literally create a bias of direction. In other words, if you perceive somebody as status, then you determine, okay, this person is worth following, right? And oftentimes we think we're following people because they have success, but we're actually following them because they have status, because they seem to have something that we know we desire. So we follow them. And sometimes their status is higher than the success they have. And when we come into their arena to learn how to have that success, after we experience them or buy something from them or get coached by them or watch some of their videos or read some of their books, we become disappointed. And the real reason we become disappointed is because their status was higher than their success. But when we experience somebody and we think we're following them because of what we perceive their success is, which is really just their status, and then we start following them and we read their books and we attend their seminars, or we might hire them to be a coach, or we might get involved in a program or a mastermind of theirs, and then the reality of them is greater than your previous perception of them, that's because their success is actually higher than their status. Do you remember what the Queen of Sheba said when she experienced Solomon? She said, I heard of your wisdom in my own land. However, I didn't believe it. Nobody could be that wise. Nobody could be that wealthy. Nobody can be that smart. Nobody can be that good. And then she said, but yet the half has not been told. Your wisdom and your prosperity exceed the fame which I heard. Here's the problem with most authors, speakers, coaches, entrepreneurs, business people, pastors, churches, businesses. It doesn't matter. Your fame exceeds the reality of your experience. And it's okay to have your reputation precede you. It is not okay to have your reputation exceed you. See, I know, I'm not going to pretend that I don't know that much. I know a lot. I know a lot about a lot of different things. I know a lot about a lot of different things in the Bible. I know a lot about a lot of different things in business. But here's what also I know. I know that how much I know is a teaspoon in the ocean of what could be known. And that is why I don't let a day go by where I'm not learning something I didn't know. And there's no universe in which I'm going to buy a coaching program for $25,000, $30,000, $50,000, like I'm in Russell Brunson's $50,000 Inner Circle Mastermind. And when he has something, guess what I do? I show up. Our business does over $1 million a month in revenue. I still show up. Why? Because I know that the arena of information and transformational information that I don't know is greater than the information of transformational information that I do know. And so I am always a student and sometimes a teacher. Here's the problem. There are far too many coaches out there. There are far too many authors. There are far too many entrepreneurs that are always the teacher and sometimes the student. I'm telling you, I would much rather be always the student and only sometimes the teacher. Don't let your status, don't let what other people think about you keep you from becoming the person they perceive you to be. Make the gap between your actual success and your status so big that status has to run really, 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 really fast, catch an Uber, and then a plane ride to even get close to where you actually are. Okay, y'all tracking. Now that we've defined status, let's define success. Because a lot of people think success is a lot of money. I was watching a YouTube video this morning by this guy who sold one of his businesses for $158 million, and here's what he said. I still have anxiety about money. That's because, in my opinion, you don't understand life. Like, I've never sold a business for $158 million, and I have zero anxiety about money. I have zero anxiety about money. Like, is it possible that there could be a turn of events that makes all of the money I have right now worthless in one day? 1,000% that's possible. But see, here's why I have no anxiety about that. And the clue is actually on the money. In fact, I'm going to take some money out and I'm going to read it to you right now. Here's what it says. And it doesn't matter if it's a $100 bill or it's a penny. Here's what they all say. I got to find it because I want to make sure I'm reading it, not just telling you what I remember, because I don't want to misquote this. Oh, there it is right there. In God we trust. There it is. See, here's the problem. Most people would have to write on their Bible, in money we trust. But I don't trust this. I don't trust this as far as I could throw the Empire State Building left-handed, which, by the way, is not very far. So I also know, because in the Bible it tells me that spiritual Babylon, whatever that is, and I believe it potentially extensively is America, spiritual Babylon, the economy of spiritual Babylon, the scripture tells us, goes to nothing in one day. It's all wiped out in one day. Go read Revelation chapter 18. You'll be blown away. Whatever, spiritual Babylon may not be the United States of America. It could be the European Union. But it's some world power that when it collapses, the whole thing collapses in one day. So, being aware of that, the reason people worry and have anxiety about anything is because they don't know how things are going to turn out. I already know how things are going to turn out. Say, what do you mean you know how things are going to turn out? Okay. We are more than conquerors through him that loved us. Here's the beauty of that. It doesn't say I'm going to be more than a conqueror. Let that soak in. I've already won the game before you even know I'm in it. What I got to worry about? Anxiety about money? Child, please. Hey, I've had a whole bunch and then I've had none after that. And here's what I found out. Your arm does not fall off. Your head doesn't fall off, start rolling down the sidewalk. You got to run chasing it. You can't even see where it's at. Right? Oh, where's my head? That doesn't happen. There are things that are worse than losing all your money. And guess what? I don't worry about those either. Why? Because worry is waste, and the greater the worry, the greater the waste. Okay, let's define success. Success. Step one, discover your purpose. Here's why I say that. It doesn't matter how much money you make if you don't fulfill your purpose. You are a miserable failure. If you make $400 trillion personally, and you don't fulfill your purpose, you've wasted your life. You have lots and lots and lots and lots of friends and lots and lots and lots and lots of fans and lots and lots and lots and lots of followers and finances galore. But you didn't fulfill your purpose, you wasted your life. Congratulations, you're a miserable failure. Success, step one. You ready? Discover the purpose for your life. Something being worth a lot of money does not make it successful. Someone being worth a lot of money does not make them successful. I do have a car that has a sunroof, or a moonroof, or whatever it's called. Panoramic, retractable roof thing. So if I take my Mercedes GLE 53, $120-something thousand car, park it in my front yard, fill it up with dirt, and plant a palm tree in it, it'll be beautiful. It'll be the most expensive flower pot in the world. But it would be dumb as a box of rocks for me to do that. Why? Because that's not what it was made for. Guess what's more valuable than a $120-something thousand car? You are. But yet you fill up your life with a bunch of stuff that at the end of the day amounts to dirt. And then you plant something that's pretty to other people in it. So people walk, oh, wow, that's amazing. Look at what that had. Oh, that's beautiful. Look at that palm tree. And guess what? It's a wasted car and a wasted life. Discover the purpose for which you were created, because if you don't do that, by the way, but Myron, how do I know my purpose? Okay. I'm going to tell you how to find your purpose before I tell you how to know your purpose. Let me tell you how to find your purpose. You ready? Here's how you find your purpose. You yield to your purpose before you know what it is. You don't get to discover your purpose until you stop trying to decide what your purpose is. What does that mean? You didn't make yourself, so you don't get to decide. Do you know who tells me who wrote the manual for my Mercedes? Mercedes, the people who made the car. So guess who tells you the purpose for your life? The manufacturer, the one who made you. God is the one who determines, who wrote the manual, the user manual for your life. It's called the Bible. I don't believe that. Okay. I submit to you that there will come a day that you will put a word at the end of that statement. I don't believe that. And the word is yet. So you discover the purpose for your life. Now, that's how do you discover the purpose for your life? Well, first you find it by yielding to it before you know what it is. So I am willing to do whatever God put me here for, even if I don't know what that is. And by the way, if God wanted me to be broke my whole life, I'd be so cool with it, I wouldn't want him to fool with it. I'm glad he didn't want me to do that, but if he did, I'm okay with that. If God's design and purpose for my life was for me to be sick my whole life so that I could encourage people who are sick that they can still have joy, and that's God's purpose for my life, I'd be so cool with it, I wouldn't want to fool with it. I'm glad that's not his purpose for my life, but if it were, I'm okay with it. Why? Because I didn't make me. So I don't get to decide what makes me successful. So I yield to it before I know what it is, and then I please God and serve people. And the thing that I use to please God and serve people is the same. What is it? I live in my creative space. God planted an aspect of his creativity inside of me so that I can produce on the outside based on what he put on the inside and use the things I produce on the outside to serve the people I come across. Like, I am not confused. I know I am here to serve all of you. I'm not confused about it. I'm here to serve my wife. I'm here to serve my children. I'm here to serve my brothers. I'm here to serve my parents. They're gone, but I'm here to serve their name, their reputation. Every time I come across a person, I'm aware, hyper aware, if you will, that God put me in their path for them, from my perspective, more than he put them in my path for me. The people on my team, yeah, they serve me and they serve the business because that's what I pay them for, but I am not confused. I understand that I'm here to serve them. I started this business to serve. I can make a boatload of money without having all this stuff to pay for and all this work to do. In fact, I don't need to do anything to make money. I don't need to work at all. I can just manage my money and let my money make me all the money I need to live off for the rest of my life, and I'd be okay. But who am I serving? I'm serving me when I do that. Are y'all tracking? Okay. So, discover the purpose for your life. Here's the part that's challenging. This is the part that's perpetual. Success. Step 2. Develop yourself for that purpose. So now I am working towards becoming better at the purpose that I've discovered. So I develop myself for that purpose. This is where people who buy coaching programs and don't show up make the mistake. They stop developing themselves. They develop themselves when they get started. They do a little bit of it. It works a little bit, but feels like a lot to them. So they stop showing up because now they think they have the answers. But those answers only worked while they were where they were when they worked. But after they work, they're in a different place. And now they're going to require new answers that they don't have. This is why I never stop learning. Because I know there are levels to everything, and new levels have new devils. And so now I've got to figure out how to defeat the new devils that are on my new level. Okay. Step 1, discover the purpose for what you were created. Step 2 of success, develop yourself for that purpose. Step 3, success step 3, you ready? Deploy yourself in that purpose. If you are doing anything other than the thing you were created for, you are wasting your life. If God has blessed you with children, a part of your purpose is to be a parent. The job of a parent is to protect, provide for, and prepare children to become responsible adults. You know what the opposite word of responsible is? I think it's called an antonym. Is that what an antonym is? An antonym is the opposite of something? Okay. So the antonym of responsible is reactive. See, the word responsible means to be able to respond with ability. When you respond with ability, you're responsible. But when you're reactive, you're just acting in response to. And what we have is we have a lot of children and adults' bodies around the world who are reactive because their parents never prepared them to be responsible. So they don't know how to respond. The only thing they can do is react. Well, this is how I feel. Right. But the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? So if all of your actions are just based on just how I feel, I don't care. This is my truth. There's no such thing as your truth. Yo-yo? There's no such thing. There's the truth. Anything that's not the truth is a lie. Your truth, my truth, his truth, her truth, blah. That's all hocus pocus. That's all mumbo jumbo. Psychobabble for people who refuse to be responsible. There's no such thing as your truth, my truth. There's the truth. Anything that ain't the truth is a lie. Anyway, that was free. I'm not going to charge extra for that. Okay. So we've defined success. We've defined status. Status is based on the perception of others. Status can be the basis of deception of you, but status creates a bias in the direction of you by others and others by you, which means if you have status, people are going to follow you because you have that status. But if you desire status, you're going to follow people and do what they want you to do because you desire to have status. But if you don't care about status, you just let the status follow your success. Because if you do that and you hyper-focus on the success, discovering your purpose, developing yourself for that purpose, and deploying yourself in that purpose, the status will follow, and it will always keep a safe distance if you're hyper-focused on the success of purpose. Are y'all tracking? Okay. This is why I don't want to put out a YouTube video. People are going to make fun of me and they're going to have negative comments. You know why? Because that's a status-seeking, ideology. The reason you care about what other people think about you is because you need status. When you're focused on what God cares about, it doesn't matter I know there are people who think I'm the Antichrist and a prosperity gospel preacher and a false prophet and all that. You know what? I celebrate them. Think whatever you want to think. Do you, boo? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow the one who created me and do what he told me to do, because when I do that, my status is going to keep a safe distance following my success. And I'm not going to chase status. Because then what happens is the closer I get to status without success, the further success lags behind. Okay. Let's combine status and success. Combine them according to purpose. What does that mean? Well, it's hard to do. It means ignore status and hyper-focus on success. Hyper-focus on your purpose. This YouTube channel, while I create content that users will like, that's not my primary objective. My primary objective is to create content that God is pleased with. My secondary purpose is to create content that serves people. Well, how many of y'all know everything that serves people don't feel good to people? Because sometimes help hurts before it helps, right? Like, beware of people who won't hurt your feelings, but they'll hurt your future. There are people who make you feel good and will never offend you. I have no desire to be offensive. But my desire to tell the truth is greater than my desire not to offend. And that's why I tell the truth wherever I find it, to the best of my understanding. So, combine them according to purpose. The priority is the success of discovering my purpose and developing myself in that purpose and then deploying myself in that purpose. That's the priority. That's the purpose. I'm focused on my purpose. My purpose is success, and success is not determined by how much money I have or how nice my clothes are or how nice my car is. Those are all just side benefits. My actual success is determined by whether or not I am on purpose. And there are degrees to that, right? Like, none of us are ever operating 100% on purpose. But, if we can keep it in the high 80s or 90s, we're going to be doing something, right? And we're not guided by what we think other people think about us. Okay, so combine them according to principles. Here's a really interesting principle. You can have success without status, but you can also have status without success. Usually when you have success, it's going to bring you status. Sometimes the status success brings you as negative, though. What does that mean? Well, think about John the Baptist. And in fact, most of the time, even when your success brings you good status, it'll bring you bad status before it brings you good. It'll bring you negative status before it brings you positive status. Why? Because when you're operating in your purpose, and most people are not, you are going to be misunderstood. You're going to be Joseph in the midst of your 11 brothers who hate you for your words and your dreams. You're going to be David in the midst of your older brothers who think that the only reason you're willing to fight your giants is because you have pride and naughtiness in your heart. How many of y'all picking up what I'm putting down? And so just be like, if you're so fragile that you can't be misunderstood because it just breaks you, be content to wander in the wilderness of mediocrity for the rest of your life, because that's what's going to happen. Okay. So you combine them according to principles, and you let principles govern you. What are principles? Principles are God's automation. God wove principles into the fabric of the universe so that he doesn't have to keep repeating himself. Maybe that wasn't the whole reason, but he doesn't. He put gravity there so when you drop something, it falls. Okay, you get it. I've already talked about that before. And then combine them according to priority. Make success passionately pursuing and preparing yourself for your purpose, and then practicing in that purpose the whole of your life. Like, make that the thing. I'm a husband. As the husband to my wife, how can I please God and serve her? Okay, I'm a father. As the father to these children, how can I please God and serve these children? I'm a pastor. Okay, as the pastor of this church, this assembly, how can I please God and serve these people? You're an entrepreneur. You run a business. You have a team. You have employees. Okay, as an employer, how can I please God and serve these people who work for me? Okay, I've got customers and clients. Okay, how can I please God and serve these people that work for me? That I serve, that pay me. Okay, I'm going out to dinner at a restaurant, and I know I'm going to have a server bring me some food, but what can I do to please God and serve this server who's serving me? They're not just serving me. They're not my slave. They're serving me, but I'm also serving them, right? So how can I do this thing that God put me here for? How can I serve my siblings and my aunts and uncles and cousins and parents? And how can I please God and serve all the people that God brings me across their path in a way that makes my life purposeful? Because when I figure that out and I prioritize that, here's what I found out. The status that I am supposed to have will follow, and that which I am not supposed to have will go away. But you have to be true to your purpose. And if you'll do what I said, your status won't ruin your success. Don't think that when you arrive at where you arrive at because you lived your life on purpose that you've arrived. Because I'm going to end this video with this. There is no there. Well, I'm there now. I don't need to please God and serve people anymore. I'm there. There is no there. I don't have to worry about doing the stuff I did to become successful. I'm already there. There is no there. Here's what the Apostle Paul said. Now, if there's ever been a human who's there, Paul would be one of them, right? He wrote 14 out of the 27 books of the New Testament. That's more than half. 14 out of 27, that's more than half. Here's what he said. I count not myself to have apprehended. What does that mean? I am not there. But what do? I press toward the mark of the high calling of God in Christ Jesus. What does that mean? That means I am passionately pursuing my purpose and my preparation for the thing for which I was created. When we do that, and we understand that there is no there, we won't stop learning based on the illusion of success. Because if we do that, we're going to find ourselves where Solomon found himself in the middle of his life. The very success that God gave him, he allowed it to become his downfall because he disregarded what God said about not marrying strange women, about not accumulating to himself silver and gold, about not accumulating to himself horses. He disregarded what God said because he let his status get to his head and he let his status make him think he was exempt from doing the things that made him successful. Let's don't make that mistake. I hope this video helps you. Stay blessed by the best, and we'll see you on the next video.